beauties, thank you so much, of course, for keeping it beautifully flawed. And it's your girl RB back with another one for you. Now, tell me that you're seeing this one. We went crazy today. It's all about just making it happen in a very crazy, fun way. Now, this look was just out of the box for me today. Basically, I just went along with the flow, honey. The flow does work. Okay, so before I go any further, let me just take the time out to say a huge shout out to no other than Shav Don. You can find him on Instagram as Shav Don. Second person I want to give a shout out to is Camille Nelson. Camille, big up yourself, girl, and thank you guys for always supporting. Now you know what's coming next, don't you? You know what's coming up next. Now, if you guys have not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Please go ahead and hit that subscription button and also that notification bell so you can be notified of every and all that I do moving forward. Now, if you don't mind me asking as well to please go ahead and, of course, comment, like, share, if you can. Okay, honey. Okay, so thanks so much again, guys, and I won't keep you any further. You can go straight on in and, of course, enjoy yourself. So until we meet again, rock your floss, honey. Bye. Hey, guys. Okay, so we're gonna jump straight on into this one. I hope you guys will enjoy what I have for you today. So I'm using here, I'm just gonna be telling you my palette. I'm using here the Zulu palette, and I'm using that pink. And let me be honest with y'all, we did not know where we were gonna go, but this one was definitely a flow. So this look was, I just knew I wanted it to be big, bad, and crazy. And I knew that if I placed my shades here, I knew that I had to go harder, go home. But I was already home, as y'all know. Okay, so I'm using a flat blending brush, and I'm just pressing that down right there, as y'all can see. And I want to make sure I want to build it up. So I'm lightly blending it out and still packing it on. Okay, so this purple is from another palette. Like, I literally use 3 palettes as I'm talking to you now. I pull up the palettes them. So I use the Warrio 3 palette and the Zulu palette, and of course alongside that the James Charles palette. So those are the 3 palettes, and they will be listed. Alright, so I'm going to be laying at the very edge of that pink. I'm going to be resting the purple there, and that is for blending purposes. Alright, so it look harsh. I laid it directly on top of it for a reason, because I wanted to make sure that it was really blended. Alright, so, and ladies, when you're doing your makeup, have fun with it. It's an art. It's a form of expression. I was really having fun. I did not know where I was headed in what direction, but all I knew was it had to come out great, and so I was just vibing. See that? Just vibing. So of course this is me now blending out, and this is really important. So of course, as you guys should know my method by now, I'm going to be going back and forth with either brushes, and I'm not always putting extra product on the brush. Sometimes I'll just use the brush as is. Sometimes you might have to tap in here a little bit and tap off any excess, you know what I mean? But for overall, you want to make sure that it is nice. So on a blending brush, I'm taking a light green from the James Stars palette, and I'm blending that now into. So it's not going to be I'm not going to pack it onto the eye as I done with the 2 previous shades. This is going to be much lighter because it's not necessarily in the forefront of the eyes, so that's the reason I'm not really packing it, and I just wanted to be there to hold space. As I said, like, I was just looking at colors, picking up. I just knew I wanted to do something what I didn't know. But yeah, so just have fun, ladies, whilst you're doing it. Even if you don't use the same colors, just do something I feel good while you're doing it. Alright? Okay, so I'm putting that blue to the very front. This is me taking risk, and you know what? Makeup, there's nothing risky. The only fault that you'll find in makeup is if you don't blend it out. makeup, the colors, I don't think it can be off. I think the only thing that's gonna make it look really ugly is if it's not blended. So I'm going in with a huge blended brush and I'm just blending that on the very top of the shades, the purple and the pink. And of course, I'm gonna just make sure that it gets lost in there. Alright, but it's still going to, you're gonna see a little bit of it, but not too much of it. And you will realize, guys, you will take note that blending does take time. Alright, my kids right there next to me, so you'll hear my big boy playing with his younger brother. But anywho, so blending will take time. Nothing is wrong, guys. Nothing is wrong. It will take time, but as long as it come out perfect, that's the aim of the game. So going back and forth, as I said, I was losing the blue because I use that big blended brush to get the blue blended out. So I'm just gonna go back in and reinforce my shades, both pink and purple, and also to get that blue melted into those two shades. And of course I have a feel of self while I do it. So here I'm going to be cutting under those colors. So it's like a triple type of cut crease. As you go along you'll also see it. So I'm using the micellar water and cotton swab, as we should know by now, and I'm just going to be cutting directly under that, and then I will be placing my other shades. You want to make sure you take your time. Always gonna say this. You want to make certain that you're taking your time. There's no rush in it. Alright, you don't need to rush it. Just take your time. So what you can do to make sure it comes out as clean as possible is you want to stamp the brush along a line, and then you can go ahead and lay the brush flat, and then you can go ahead and fill in the blank space that you have where you want to go ahead and lay down those new shadows. Alright, so that's what you guys see me doing here. Alrighty, so next step, but just wait. Alright, so that look, it looks nice. Alright, so we're gonna be going directly underneath. Now this green is also from the James Charles palette, and it's actually the same green that I'd used up top, and it's the same green that I'm now using. Now guys, let me be honest, I did not know the direction that I was going in, but I just knew I was just gonna go with the flow, and sometimes that's how it works. Going with the flow. Now this blue is from the Juvias palette. Yeah, this blue is from the Juvias palette. Now let me say this, guys, you don't have to use the palettes that I use. It's the palettes that I have on hand. The important thing, if you want to recreate this look, all right, what you need to do is just use what you have. No make sense you go out so your way go use a Juvias because I'm using Juvias. Use what you have. You just want to make sure that the color payoff is nice, and that's what is important. Alright, so I'm laying down the shades as I'd done previously with the first shades. I'm packing them onto each other, and then I'll be going back and forth to get the shades blended out. Perfect. Like, look at those colors. I really love a nice blend. And these colors, the green and the blue, oh my lord, it looks really nice. You have to stop sometime and appreciate yourself, you know. If you don't appreciate yourself, who else will appreciate you, right? Clap for yourself first. Alright, so of course we know the drill. I will be going back and forth, and I'll be using the two brushes, and I'm just gonna be patting them in until they're blended. Like, yeah. So guys, so as you know by now, an easy trick for you to get the blending perfect, just go ahead, no extra product added, just go back and forth with the two shades. Alright, so of course I'm using that same pink that I'd use in the front of the brow. What did I say, brow? The front of the eye. the very first shade, and I'm just attaching that right there. I think right here I wasn't really laying it in a specific manner. I was just laying it down, all right, and you guys will see what I'm doing. For now I'll be laying down. I'm gonna stop all by talking, but yeah, I'm gonna come back and tell you what me I do after this. Right, guys, believe me when I said this, up to this point I still had no direction, and I know I keep saying this, but I really appreciate art. You know, some persons we say, but you know, ang pan wall. No, art is a form of expressing yourself, and that is what makeup is. That's why it's called makeup artistry. I love that I didn't know my direction that I was going, but it ended up somewhere. So of course I'm just laying that purple, same pink, and I'm just using that flat brush. So guys, let me explain. So when you use a flat brush like I'm doing, it packs on the shade. And intense. So if you want the shade to be intense, you get a flat brush to pack it on. If you want it to be blended, if you don't want it to be, basically, if you want probably like a transition color, you want to get a fluffy brush. A fluffy brush does not pack on. So there's less shadow there. So you're laying the shadow there. It's not as intense. So because I want the shades to be intense, I'm using a flat brush, blending. Of course, we're going to be going back and forth between the two colors to get them blended nicely and seamlessly into each other. Alright, so to move on to the next phase of the crazy train, I'm cutting again another crease. As I said, this is a look that was fun, it was experimental, and I was pleased with the outcome. So of course, using the micellar water and the cotton swab, I'm just getting the work done here. Now you can, as I said before, or I did before, I used the Vaseline or the petroleum jelly. It does not have to be Vaseline, the brand Vaseline, petroleum jelly, because we Jamaicans tend to call everything petroleum jelly Vaseline. So I'm just going ahead and I'm just cleaning up, and I'm cleaning it in a particular shape. Alright, so how I'm doing it, I'm using this to clean it up in the shade, girl, come on, in the shape that I want it to be. Alright, so here I'm laying down my loose neon pigment. I love neon pigments. Alright, but I will also advise. So I used here the Absolute New York's concealer, Radiance cover concealer. It is nice. It is a very nice matted concealer. It's not good for using it as a base. I've had to come now and say that no, because when I did the pigment, it was not sticky because it dries down so quick. Like by the time you go in and you're going to like cut your crease and then to go ahead and lay down the pigment, it's not going to stick. I think it's good for eyeshadows, for your regular pressed shadows, but I don't think it's any good as it relates to your pigments. But I realize my eyeshadow is still picking up on it, so I would recommend that you use it for your regular pressed eyeshadows, but not for your pigments. But to get your pigments to stick though, what you need to do is to just spray your brush, or to get it wet, you can mist it with setting spray or water, but I prefer to use setting spray. I'm using the micellar water and the cotton swab to carve out the shape of the pigment. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I was like, oh, that's what I'm gonna do. That's like the shape, and I was like, nah, that is ugly. Like it wasn't cutting it for me. It wasn't. But y'all are gonna see when me like go in and say no, change it. Y'all are gonna see. So of course I could have gone ahead and repeated the process of using the micellar water, but this is, at this point, I don't want to be wasting my concealer, so I just decided to use said concealer to clean up. Alright, to just clean up, or to carve out a circular, well at first it wasn't a circular, but then I saw the opportunity after a time with the other eye, and then that's when I decided that, you know what, let me go ahead and carve it out in this particular way. See that, guys? The flow, like you see that? So here, guys, take your time. This was my first time doing this carve. My first time. I know it's not as perfect as some persons, but I'm still proud of myself. Like if I'm not proud of myself, who is going to be, right? So I'm going in that James Charles palette, and there's like a huge one of the 4 larger pans. That's what I'm using, the nude from that, and I'm just using it with a large shader brush to press on, because I didn't want to change the shade. Well, it was changed a bit, I won't lie to you, but the concept was still there. All right, the concept was still there, and I really like how it turned out. Yeah. Now I'm using a smaller brush there, a smaller and a flatter brush, and this is to get me closer to the cut crease. Taking it closer will make sure that there is no space in between, and it makes it get a cleaner, clearer, crispier look. Alright, so you can always make sure you trade out your brushes. If you need to cover vast space, you go ahead and use that flatter, bigger brush, and to get it neat, to use for yourself some smaller brushes. Now here, I am just cleaning up with concealer, and I know, and this is when I got that eureka moment, like ooh, because this was not in the plan. It was like afterwards, I was like, you know what? I think this is gonna work if I cut it like this. And so that's when I realized to myself that, you know what? Yep, this is the cut to go. So just using the concealer to clean up and to make it look much, much sharper. Now the reason you're gonna have to go in with a brush to blend out the concealer, you don't want to lay foundation on top of that because it's going to peek through. Like it is literally going to seep through, especially if you don't have like a full coverage foundation. So this is me just cutting, repeating the same process on the other side as I've done before. But let me go back to saying, when it comes onto your concealers, even if it's with your eyes that you're doing, make sure it is properly blended out. Blend it out so much so that blend it out so much so that it is really flattened and your foundation just lie down on top of it, very smooth. So this is a Revlon. I love this. Oh Lord, I can't say it enough. I love it. The fact that it's so skinny and I'm able to use it. Like I literally tried. I don't think I showed you. I fixed it. I tried using pink and purple from the flash palette I showed you guys in a couple of videos back, and it spoiled. Like I had to go back in. I didn't show you guys. I had to go back in and fix it. But nevertheless, it turned out. So I'm just using it to create my blue liner, and blue and green. This blue and this green, they go perfect together. Like it just pops. I don't think I show you guys enough of me putting on my lash, but tip for putting on your lash: you apply your glue, make sure it gets tacky. Nothing under 30 seconds. Some glue will take a bit more than 30 seconds, but make sure that it's not too dry, because if it's too dry, it won't stick. Now make sure that the mirror that you're using, you're able to see. You want to look down, by the way, but you want to make sure that the mirror is showing your lash line. And once it's showing your lash line, make sure the tweezer is lying in the exact middle of the lash, and you want to go ahead and stick it from the middle, and afterwards you want to then connect both ends. Alright, I think I need to do a more in-depth video as it relates to lash application, and I will do so. Like every step of the way, I'm just excited. Like I'm just super proud. I'm just super proud, you know, super proud of the look. Like every step of the way, I'm looking at it and I'm just feeling it. So as you can see, I'm dancing around to literally make this lash dry. Dancing around just to make that lash dry. Alright. Feeling it. Alright, so I used from is it the Warrio 3 or the Zulu? There's this silvery blue there. That's what I laid down first, and I wanted to give a neon glow. So that's a trick that I've been using. I don't know if I've explained it. So to get that neon glow, I always lay down this like a silver shimmer, and then I lay down that color on top of it, so it just gives you a nice look. Alright, so I'm going to be using the same colors on those tiny brushes, and I did say to you, like, this is a brush from Amazon and it is super affordable, and I really like it. Like with these brushes, it gives me the vibes for like do them look here. Like it gives you the vibe. Good brushes gives the vibe to do crazy experiments. Alright, so I'm just laying down first is that purple, and then I'll just be following the shades as I go along. Now I'll continue explaining. Alright, still coming back to explain. Alright, so in cases like this, if you already done your foundation, that's why I like to do everything on the eye before, but if you've done your foundation and before you do anything, you want to go ahead and lay down on the highest point of your cheek some loose powder. Don't press it in, just lay it down. So what happens is whenever anything falls, it falls atop the setting powder, and all you need to do is just use your brush and just brush it away, and it will not influence. There won't be any color. Guys, sorry about my face. I will later on go back into it. I just wanted to focus solely on the eyeshadow. Alright, so this is a dark blue matte from Ruby Kiss. Guys, listen, Ruby Kiss, they do have some nice products, and I like Ruby Kiss. Like I really like their products. Affordable, and it's very good. It has quality. Alright, so I was testing out putting this AOA Matte Wonder lippy in the middle, but then again, I just don't think I like how it was gonna look. So you'll see what I then did. I just wasn't feeling how it was. Not upon a hot mess there. Like no, Sam, I never did I feel it. I wasn't feeling it, as you can see my facial expression. I wasn't, and so that's the reason I decided to go in and just cover it up. And the cover that I covered it up, I prefer that one. Let me know in the comment section, like any part of this that you would change, because nothing wrong, you know. Any part of this that you would change. I know some persons are like, ooh, that lit though, but hey, it's part of expressing yourself, and I love expressing myself with bright colors. Now I'm just using here my foundation, and I'm just using it to clean up, to get a nicer looking lip, a sharper looking lip. So I'm just using it to clean up any bleed out that I had, any lipstick that came, you know, too much out, because I don't really like to overdraw my lips too much. I'd rather overdraw exactly where my lips in than to draw a bit away from where my lips. I wonder if Mary that's sort of thing, right? But still, y'all get what me I say. Alright? Yes, guys, this is the end product, and I want to thank you guys so much for always making it beautifully flawed. And guys, thank you for keep on supporting, and if you can, don't forget to subscribe, like, and of course go ahead and leave, you know, a nice comment, and if you can, go ahead and also share it so a friend of a friend can see it. Bye guys.